So in a few days, this car turns 40 years old. This was taken on January 9th, 1985 at Hamilton Pontiac Buick Mazda in Irwin, Pennsylvania. I took that picture. I was not even 15 years old yet. The reason, though, I'm getting ready and doing a little bit of research for the car because I'm getting it ready to go to be fully restored. It doesn't need much. It needs a lot of cleaning up and everything. It's a really good, solid car. But what I found today, I really want to share with you because I think it'll be kind of interesting for any 80s child, any someone who wants to know the history of stuff. If you look online, you're going to find one of these for Buick, Chevy, Pontiac. I'm sure every one of the divisions of GM in the 80s had their version of this. And what it is a stereo listening manual, including a national FM stereo station directory. Okay, so this is cool. But what I can give you a little bit of flesh to is the fact that I grew up in Pittsburgh. So if you look around, there was a really good station nearby, Charleroi, WESA, for instance. And then you look through all your cities, so all your states alphabetical. But I'm going to get down here to Pittsburgh. So QED still exists, and DUQ still exists. Some of these stations still do exist, but they're not under that call letter. WWSW still exists. It's oldies station, except now it plays the songs that were new at the time as oldies today. Then you go down through here. SHH still exists. And of course, the legendary WDVE in Pittsburgh. But if you are not from Pittsburgh, but you're a fan of the novel Christine, not the movie, the novel, he talks about some radio stations that do not exist, except for one, and that's Stereo 104. He talks about that a lot. He doesn't give the call letters, but he talks about it having a block party weekend, and WYDD was very much the home of the block party weekend in Pittsburgh. So it's really cool to, it's one of my favorite stations growing up because you could hear an artist that you knew about, but you didn't know the rest of their songs. And if you didn't have their albums or anything like that, you hear 4 songs and find out like, oh, I really like that artist. So it's really cool. It has that really cool horror connection, and it has this local connection. So anywhere you're from, in the U.S., if you want to look through and see the history of your stations and everything, you can. And I remember when we were travel, what was fun about this, you could kind of look. If we were going to go to North Carolina, we looked up beforehand what stations we'd want to listen to. And I always loved this. This was the adventure. It was like a roadmap, a real tactile thing that you could go through and say, oh, look, here's a good station. Yeah, you could hit seek and scan, of course. And, today, the shame of it is, I remember when I was of this age, and I had probably about 18 stations in Pittsburgh that I would listen to. There were so many. And remember, they were all programmed individually. So they were all unique kind of stations. You'd hear different music and you'd kind of know what station you were listening to based on what the program directors, tastes were. And it was really fun. It was a great time. FM radio was amazing. AM radio was amazing. But this is a real walk down memory lane. So if you're someone who is into the 80s and you're into the music of the 80s, pick one of these up. It doesn't have to be Buick. There's Chevy, I'm sure, did it, but I know Pontiac did it. We had this Buick and a bunch of Pontiacs, and I had a bunch of these all through the years in every one of the cars when they went into digital tuners, because they wanted to encourage you to enjoy your digital tuner, which came in the early to mid 80s and became, almost standard by the end of the decade. And it was a really cool thing that GM did. And if you want something that's kind of a little time capsule, look for one on eBay or somewhere. It's really cool. I'm sure they're not a lot of money. And I think you will have a lot of fun going down memory lane or saying, oh, wow, that terrible, all talk station used to be a really cool progressive album station, something like that. Anyway, get ready for a little bit more about this in the days coming up. If you watch my stuff with the Pontiac 6000, I'll give you a little this is the 85 LeSabre that we still have. That was the 85 6000 that my dad had. That was my brother's 86 Mercury Sable. I cannot wait to get my new 6000, my 85 6000 next to my LeSabre and get a recreation of this picture at my parents' house. So I'm getting ready to do a little bit of a special 40th kind of birthday for this car, and I'll have a few more photos. This car's been a member of the family since 1985, almost 40 years to the day. So hey, stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and wait till you see this car. Wait till you see it next to the 85 6000. The 85 6000 is this light color and the darker version of that, light and dark chestnut metallic. What's weird is we were looking at Oldsmobiles, and it's funny, light and dark chestnut metallic was used throughout GM. I know it was used on Pontiacs and Buicks. So that's light chestnut metallic. And of course, there's dark chestnut metallic. Oldsmobile referred to those colors as light and dark chestnut metallic. Pontiac did, and so did Buick. So kind of cool. And, I saved all this stuff history-wise, including the audio owner's guide. And it's just, little fun things. I was the historian of this car from the day we brought it home. My dad let me do it, and I always knew someday I would have this car from when it was brand new. I was gonna keep this car. I was gonna take really good care of it, and someday I would have it when it was an older car, because that's who I am. But I just cannot wait to, have it back, have it on the show circuit, and but this little thing really kind of stood out to me as a fun little bit of its era. So check one of these out, and you'll have fun. So hey, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and get ready for a lot more of the Mark of Excellence coming to my channel in 1985 in 2025.